Now, before I get into this episode, I noticed that people are wondering, will this really last only 12 episodes? Will there be a part two? I guess because people want more Nanaha. They're hoping that this will have a part two or something towards it. For how long they're really taking their time with the pasting when it comes to this series. There's only 12 episodes. We're already at the halfway point, and there's only 12 episodes. So they're wondering what's going to happen. You know, Sheena and Toa have yet to see each other on the opposite side of the law yet. They probably will in the next episode, but the question is, will it be enough? Especially finding out that there's a bigger player in the game as well when it comes to an antagonist as well. Turns out Mana isn't the big bad guy after all. There's someone way stronger than she is. And the first half of the episode is focused on her and Edgy's relationship, how they met and their goals and where they are at right now and everything. Edgy is a salaryman. And of course he's a salaryman. For some reason when it comes to Japanese writing, despite how creative they can be, for some reason there are small parts when it comes to writing that they're very cliche about. It's like it's the trope that they must keep. Like every time you see a dude who had a job, he's always a salary man all the time. He's working at some computer and he hates the job with the overworking hours and the boss is buzzing his nuts. Those things come with a job, but it's always a salary man at a computer all the time. You know, there's other jobs men do, and that's the only way these writers see men in Japan doing is being a salary job, unless that's the main job that they hate more than anything else in the world. I believe it. But anyways, on his way home, he gets attacked by Mana. And it turns out that's not even her real body. She was a parasite that hosted that child whose name was Mana. And apparently she was a part of something much bigger, stronger, but she lost a completely humiliating defeat near the brink of death. Now she wishes to bring herself back to that point, but she doesn't know how. It's very difficult. She has to keep eating stronger daiboli, but it's really hard to find the strong ones. So she doesn't know what to do. But she took a liking to him. Help her find good food, and she'll live with him and spare him and help him out when she gets stronger. So this girl literally went to his job, killed everyone there, and got some money and gave it to him. So he could keep buying her good food. At the time, all she cared about was eating food. But then he realized, hey, this girl could really can do it, huh? So he decided, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to create this empire for you. And there, we'll create our own daiboli. And they make stronger ones. And you can use those stronger ones to eat. And the ones you don't care about, you can sell them off and stuff like that. And that's what happened. That's how it all started. And the funny thing enough is what I knew already is that other people were already experimenting on the daiboli, the invasive species. I already knew that. There's no way they weren't going to do that to see what makes them tick and what they can use to reverse engineer the fight against this effort to push them back so humanity can have some breathing space. That's a no-brainer. And so I've been mentioning that since the very beginning that they're already doing that. So of course, if that's the case, if the small guys are doing it, that means the big guys are doing it up there at the upper top floor of the government agencies. They're allowing it. But are they doing it just as bad when it comes to the experiments and the drugs that Edgy and Mana are pushing out and everything? So they created this empire in order for her to continue to eat and live a life of luxury, not needing for nothing whatsoever. And Edgy seems like a dude who's just a stoic. He doesn't have any ambitions or anything like that. He has high potential as a human and could probably excel in anything, but at that time he didn't care because he had no real goals. You know, it was just him being him, living his life, mundane life, and he was probably okay with it. But now he met this girl who has her own goals. And I think that's where it comes from. You ever seen a show or an anime where there's this main evil villain who acts like a doofus, but the right-hand man is very smart, or woman is very smart, capable, or they're a good fighter? It's always like that. You'll always see this main villain who has high ambitions, very big goals, but they always seem to have a partner or sidekick or henchman that's good at everything and does everything for them. And you're like, why does that person stay with them? that's how good they are. And that is sometimes in small act of kindness, or they're being paid, or sometimes it's because they themselves have no ambitions, but they like to support someone who does. Notice how the biggest leaders aren't that talented or that good at what they do, but they have high charisma and have big goals, but they always have someone as a right hand man to help them do their bidding. That's what the role that Edgy plays, in a way, in this part. And when I saw the backstory and how things were going, I thought this was going to be a parasitic relationship. Edgy's in it just because she's being held hostage or blackmailed. But in reality, she wasn't going to hurt him anymore ever again. You know, she was okay with him. She even said that she kind of liked his face and stuff, thought he was kind of hot. And he probably didn't care much if he lived or died, but was interested in her goal. He even said himself, he has everything, but still doesn't care. But now he just wants to help her out, make her happy because of how big her goal is. And there are people out there like that. They're full of capabilities and potential and good talents, but they only want to work for an idiot. That's how it is. It's something I just picked up on when I was watching the show. Like, wait a minute, that makes a lot of sense. So the next thing is that they knew about the Diboli sailors the entire time, but they did nothing. They saw them as a small fish in a big pond because they're so high up in the ladder. Everything they were doing wasn't really damaging them precisely. They already had the money. They already had the resources they needed to do what they needed to do. They were doing it for the sake of doing it so she could continue to eat and get stronger. That's all she really wanted at the end of the day. So they seemed like, small nuggets and didn't care about them. And they always knew what was happening, and they're just not doing something about it because they found interest in Toa. And before I get to Toa, I want to say that isn't this just like it is in our real society? Our upper crust know what's going on in the underbelly, but they do nothing about it until they need a distraction or it's election time. Then they want to acknowledge it. Every single time. I bet they know a lot more of what's going on around us, but they refuse to do anything about it until they need to use it for something. Every single time. Damn opportunists. But anyways, they're interested in Toa because she has these powers where she can give and take abilities from people. And she probably enhanced her friends' abilities as well. This is why they became strong. Now, these people that she gathered seem to be very useful, but you expect, why would they be thrown away so easily like that? There has to be a reason, but turns out they weren't that strong as they were at first. They were like, why would we throw away such strong people? So, in a way, like I was saying, Toa is Velvet Crow from Tales of Basura. Velvet Crow would absorb people, eat them with her arm to get stronger. Exactly what Toa does. I'm telling you, she is Velvet Crow. She's out for revenge. She has the dark hair and all that, and the very unique abilities. And she uses a sword. She is Velvet Crow from the Tale series. And Velvet Crow is one of my most favorite female characters in video games and stuff. So that's exactly who she is. So now they want to bring her back in and see what they can use her for. Probably make her stronger so they can absorb her. So the main fact is they're going to capture 2 Diboli users. That's going to be Sheena and Toa. So I'm guessing what's going to happen is Sheena and Toa will probably fight each other. And then as they're weakened, she'll probably choose which one she wants to eat until she can get stronger. That's how I'm thinking where this is going to go. I wouldn't mind if that was the case. But anyways, well, on Toa's side, she had to get more direct with her missions. So she decided to... This girl is still going to school, by the way. She's still going to school. Like, wow. Damn. Japanese kids are committed to going to school. They don't need no parents or nothing. I'm going to go to school anyways, man. If here in the States, if someone had no parents or kids or didn't care, they would not want to go to school. But I don't want to go to school. What do I want to go to school for? So they make me a dumbass and indoctrinate me with their ideals? Screw that. So I go to the workforce, work that minimized job, and then learn that trade. I'll figure myself over that hill later on. That's what they think. It happens. It works. But anyways, off topic. So she meets with Sheena one last time to tell her what's it. They even found the little kitty a home, and the family was there. Oh no, it's a happy family. You can't have that. When I saw that happy family, I'm like, you already know what's about to happen. And exactly what happened. a Ebola came out, and this Ebola combusted, and it was destroying a lot of people. And right then and there is a happy family that took the kitty in, and she sees the dead body. Now, Nanaha's on her way to the site, but Sheena's already there, and she's about to transform. So as we know what's about to happen, will they run into each other, or will they do a thing like something happens to distract them? They're really letting us know. The main thing we want to know is, when will they meet on the opposite sides of the law? That's what we all want to know. When? Will it be next episode? It might not. Anything could happen. We'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, as I was saying, there's a creature that's stronger than Mana out there. And Mana's trying to get her strength to probably rematch that creature or get stronger than it. So the question is will this last only 12 episodes? That's all we want to know. Some people saying that the show is too gory and dark compared to Nanaha. Let's say we had massacres and slayings, but this one still is really into it. Like, let's just go all out. Blood, 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 man. Death all over the place. Despair. Oh my goodness. That's all I gotta say for this episode. I enjoyed it, mainly the first part. The second part felt like a build-up. But I really enjoyed seeing the inside perspective of Edgy and how he sees the situation and stuff like that. Like, he's like, it's whatever, man. One day you're going to work. Next you know, you have some chick eating your arm off. And then next you know, she makes you a billionaire. That's life. So anyway, just like that first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. Just has the Madcrownxox on anime. Signing out.